wrapping up our day here at Occupy DC. You can probably hear these chants in the background, which are a bit scary. So Occupy DC has been a bit different than Occupy Wall Street and Occupy Orange County in that, surprisingly to me, given that the appearance of people was pretty ominous walking in, at least the limited sample of people I spoke to was relatively friendly. And yet, I think there is a connection between that friendliness and the kind of we're open to all positions, and then this chanting over here, which is a bit ominous. And that's that the movement doesn't have any clear idea of what it is after. And it has an enormous amount of emotion and sort of collective solidarity. And that solidarity is really hostility at the system as it exists. So the system that they see as industrial capitalism. They don't know what they want. They don't even know why what's wrong is wrong, or even exactly what's wrong. But the fact that something is wrong and that it's right of them to just completely take over a park, a really important area in the middle of the city, that to them is something that they seem to be willing to defend physically. And that's what I find so ominous about this, is you've got this combination of an incredible amount of emotion that almost expresses itself as a physical hostility, and yet a complete fundamental cluelessness and non-identity of what they're for. And so that is a mob that is very open to being manipulated and being taken over by someone bad. And it reminds me of when I was visiting a couple years ago, University of California, Irvine. There were some protests over the Danish cartoons, the drawings of Muhammad that had been published. And there was this group of the local Muslim Student Association. And these kids seemed like normal kids, except there was some leader, and he started yelling like Allah Akbar, and they all went into line. And it was one of the scariest things I'd ever seen. These kids who are part of a civilized country and who act civilized 99% of the time could be just roused into line by some sort of leader, and there was something about them and their ideas and some sort of fundamental hostility that they had toward the world that had been nurtured in them. And this is by far from every like Muslim or Arab student, and it was a specific group. Within that group, it was really, really scary how they thought of it. And so anytime I see a group of like super emotional people who can't tell me what they're for and why, I worry that someone is going to tell them what they're for and why, and that's something that they're for and why is going to be very much opposed to my freedom. So while I appreciate people being very nice to me and